Hello, everybody. I'm Delusion Dispeller. Most of you know that by now if you've been on YouTube any length of time. And I am here today to bring you some what I believe is very helpful information. You will note on the screen, sorry, there is a statement. Today I'm discussing some common behavioral issues all deal with, including myself at times. The views and opinions of the people on the panel, which we don't have anybody on here yet other than me, and the room visitors do not necessarily represent the views of anyone but themselves. So if somebody comes in and says, I hate Dee Dee, that's their view. It's not necessarily mine or my friends or who knows. So when you come in here, let me refresh your memory. There is no F-bombing, there is no perversion, and there is no violent graphic talk, especially today, because what I'm going to be talking to you about today is something called cognitive distortions, because I think on YouTube and in life in general, there are a lot of these going on, and I think it would be a great idea to have a discussion about this kind of stuff, not naming names, not finger pointing or any of that. That's not here in my room. We don't do that. You know this. But I am going to talk to you. Yes, we're live. I am going to talk to you about what cognitive distortions are. Hi, Lilith. And after this, we're going to watch a video in how to get past these problems. All of us, yes, you're live, Papa Perk. All of us at one time or another have issues with cognitive distortions, faulty ways our mind goes based on usually past things, high LW, that cause us to see things in a certain way or perceive things in a certain way. I've been praying all afternoon, honestly. Ever since this morning, I started off on the wrong foot, and I hope I made that right. With the situation. And then from there, I had to deal with a few other things and I started praying and I just felt it was time to bring this out. It's very important information. And maybe you have heard about it or maybe you haven't. But regardless, I think it would be a great thing for me to share this. So what I'm going to do is there's a little banner thing here and I am going to use it to help me present this type of thing. So I'm going to type out what I'm talking about so people will know what it is. And we will talk about what it is. And then, like I said, when we're done, I will show a video through this StreamYard. I am on StreamYard today only because this is the only way I can do this. I'm going to show this next video after I talk about what these things are. And you're going to learn how to deal with having these problems because I think it's helpful for everybody. All right, so let me do this here. This is our first one. If it will show, that would be great. Hold on. Okay, there we go. This is the first one. It's called all or nothing thinking. Many of us do this quite often. An example of this, and if you know examples of these things, please feel free to type them into the text. That would be great. All or nothing thinking means that you extremize things. That if one thing goes wrong, then the whole day is a waste. I'm a total screw up. I'll never be liked. I'll never have any friends. I give up. I can't do anything right. That's all or nothing thinking. The truth is, we all have things we can improve on. We all have things that we can change and make ourselves better people, myself included. I don't do this one often, but I do have moments when I get like that. I do. There were times like in my marriage, the current marriage, that I've told my husband, well, apparently I'm not doing anything right. So I think we should just end it and be done with it because nothing's ever going to work out between us. That's all or nothing thinking. The fact is, we did a lot of things right. We've been doing a lot of things right. Most people that see us think we're like, as they used to call us, the power couple, the ideal couple. We really do get along well, but there are things sometimes that feel so extreme, like we're never going to get past them. And I'm going to do my best to try to use myself in examples, so I'm not bad mouthing anybody else, because I'm not here to do that. I'm literally here to bring you information that you may or may not have heard of and that you can contribute to. Hey, G. Marie, you're an excellent person to help me with this. You know about these kind of things. Can you give some examples of all or nothing thinking? I gave one that I do. Are there any that you want to share that you do where you feel like it's just like extremely, I don't know, one way or the other? One example of this is catastrophizing, making something huger than it is and making it like hopeless in your mind. Yeah, all or nothing thinking is something that I think we all do. We panic. We feel like it's the end of the world if something doesn't work out. If I don't get that job, I'm going to starve to death and my family is going to starve to death and I'm not going to be able to pull myself up out of this. If that guy leaves me, I'm going to be devastated. I'm never going to get back on my feet. It's not going to happen. Um, like I felt, okay, here's another one of me. Like I said, I'm going to use myself as an example because you know what? If I get mad at me, I still got to live with me. So I can deal with that. But I don't want anybody else mad at me because I don't need that today or any day. So I'm going to use myself. So I was going to a church for a while. I think it was about maybe 7 months. Matthew and I were going to a church. It was called Upward, and it no longer exists, sadly. We loved the church. It was really good. It was just starting out. There were lots of people there that we were starting to get to know. And the pastor came one Sunday and said, unfortunately, I have some bad news for you. I am going to have to move back to whatever the state was, West Virginia or wherever he was from. And, oh, okay, G, I'll put that up there in a minute. And he left, he went to his state, and he was having services on Facebook for a while. So we were all kind of hanging out on Facebook. And one day he said, well, my daughter got really sick. All her good doctors are here. We're not coming back. So the church just like that, gone. And my first thought was, I'm never going to find a church like this again. I'm never going to have a nice fellowship with all these people. I'm never going to be happy in a church again. I'm never going to find anything to meet my needs, all or nothing thinking. Because one pastor, one time, decided to move back to his state to help his daughter recover from a very serious illness. I just catastrophized and did the whole all or nothing thinking. It's never going to happen again. Never going to find anything like this. I do that sometimes, and I definitely did it for that. I think I kind of fell into that when the assembly that I used to go to, the Messianic Jewish Assembly, did not work out for us. I felt like, well, I'm never going to be able to hang out with Messianic people again. I'm never going to be able to celebrate the Jewish holidays again. I'm only going to be able to do that by myself. I'm never going to meet another person that thinks the way I do about the Jewish feast days. Not true. I already met people online that do. So, but your mind goes there. It automatically starts catastrophizing and thinking it's the end of the world. So let's read what G. Marie's example says here. All or nothing. Yeah, right now I'm involved in a difficult and expensive divorce. That's hard. I think sometimes if I end up losing, I'll disappear and not let anyone know where I go. But seriously, though. Yeah. That's very common to just kind of want to disappear sometimes when you're just like, thank you, Dana. Thank you. Splitting. That is another form of, or one way to say the all or nothing thinking. Somebody's all good or somebody's all bad. The fact is, we got good and bad in all of us. That doesn't mean we all act on the bad necessarily. It doesn't mean we always act on the good either. But we have, some people call it the yin, the yang, the black, the white. There's always an opposite, a polar opposite of everything. It's the way God, Yahweh made it. There is good, there's evil, there's bad, there's good, there's white, there's black, there's dark, there's light. There's opposites of things. And it's healthy to realize that, and a balanced thing to realize that people have a little bit of both in them. And some people have more of one than the other in them. But yes, the psychological term is splitting. I don't know if that's the same as catastrophizing, but it sure could be, I'm sure. Human nature. Exactly. Okay. Let me do the next thing here. We kind of understand what that is now. And I'm thinking if we want to have a discussion, if we can keep it without bringing names into it or attacking people or bringing up specific situations, that would be great. But I have a feeling, being that it is today and what is being all over the place on this lovely place we call Planet YouTube, I'm going to just open up a different room for that. And I'm fine with, free expression in a different room. But for this room, this particular moment in time, I want to talk about these things. I want to share with what they are, and then I want to share that video I told you about. And then if we want to discuss it, I'll close this down and we will discuss it. I don't want to get into the personal he said, she said stuff on this video. I really want to keep this topic focused. All right. I just wanted to put that out there. All right. Another thing. Let me type this one in. Okay, this is another one. Oops, I'm sorry, it just gave me the wrong one. I don't know why I did that. Let's see. This, I think if I save it, maybe. There we go. Overgeneralization. I always do dumb things. I'll always be single. I'm always going to fail at this. I've heard people talk about things in overgeneralized terms for sure, and maybe other people have examples. Here we go. Oh, okay. There you go. A person is seen as an angel and then a demon. That's a good example, Dana. Thanks. So overgeneralization, and feel free to share if you know examples of these, or maybe you have done this in your life. Overgeneralization, always, never. That's the best way I could say. It kind of goes along with the whole all or nothing thinking in a way. But generalizing something means that you loop everything, group everything into the same thing. So kind of like that dog peed on the tree. All dogs are terrible. I hate dogs. That's overgeneralization. My house went through a flood. So every house after that I get is going to get flooded. Overgeneralization again. Oh, no problem. Everybody is welcome in here. You know my rules by now. If you don't, I don't know. It's just very simple. No cussing, using the F word, no vile, foul language, no graphic violence, and no personal attacks, of course. Treating people like you want to be treated. You know, the general ex-civilized type stuff. All right. Never say things like that to yourself. Say, I'm going to achieve my goal. Oh, I like that, LW. Exactly. Hi, Evelyn. Evelyn, I would love to have you on a panel with maybe Dana or somebody else that's involved in like psychology type stuff to talk about this after this chat thing is done here that I'm doing. So there's the overgeneralization things. I never, never going to get it right, that kind of thing. And basically just looping everything in. Since this happened, then it's always going to happen. Since my boyfriend doesn't like blue, so I should never ever wear blue. I should never get him anything blue. Not necessarily true. Not necessarily. You might be able to wear blue once in a while. Maybe talk to your boyfriend and say, hey, I know you don't like blue. Does that mean everything? Is it okay if I put on a blue scarf? Will that offend you? Don't assume. That's the other thing. We assume stuff a lot. I do it. I assume a lot of things. I am guilty of that one for sure. All right, let's go to the next one. I don't want to belabor any points here, but I think this is helpful and useful information for us all to know. And it bears repeating if you've already heard it. It definitely bore repeating for me when I was doing the research to do this today. So, and this is where I excel. This is who Dee Dee is. This is Delusion Dispeller. This is what my channel was based on. And I'm going back to where I started because that's when it worked and that's when it felt good to me. And It felt right to me. So that's why I'm doing this. Okay. Another thing. Okay. Here's another one. Saved and show. Filtering. I don't exactly understand what filtering is. So if one of you psychology people can kind of explain it a little better than me, please feel free and have at it. Filtering means you see things through a filter. Um, they called me last night, so my night was ruined. I didn't get the job, so um, I'm a flop. I can't succeed at anything, that sort of thing. These are all very similar. I think they seem very similar. They're all cognitive distortions, which means thinking distortions. Distorted thinking is another way of calling it. Things that just really don't necessarily have any logical basis to them or truthful basis to them. It's just what your mind tells you. So filtering. And actually, when I was researching for all of this, um, the research that I did was going rather quickly as well. So I'm kind of going to go quickly as well. And then we can just talk about it afterwards. I just want to give a general overview of what all of this is and what it means. And you can kind of think of, well, hey, do I do that? I know I did that. And I'm still trying to, process it all. All right, disqualification. I also call this, what do I call it? Minimalizing or minimizing. Sounds like low self-esteem. Yeah, like all police are bad. That's a good one. Yes, generalization. All police are bad. The guy killed that one man, so therefore we don't trust police anymore. And I do that. I definitely do that. I am leery of police because I've had some bad run-ins with them myself. Not for anything I did, but I was with people that had run-ins with them. And yeah, it's hard not to overgeneralize. But the fact is that just because one type of person does something or seems a certain way doesn't mean everybody is like that. So disqualification, let's talk about that. Disqualification is when you minimize your achievements. Somebody comes up to you and says, hey, that's really awesome that you won that prize. And you say, nah, it was nothing. That's a disqualification of yourself. Um, that's cool that you got the job. Lucky break. It's kind of like you're just like poo-pooing the compliments. It's okay to say, hey, thanks. I'm really excited about it too. Or, yeah, I'm really proud of myself. I did a good job. That's okay. You can do that. It doesn't make you proud in a bad way. It doesn't make you prideful or conceited to say, thank you. I worked hard at that. Thank you. I really appreciate that. A lot of people just really kind of brush away compliments. They disqualify themselves. They minimize their achievements. Honestly, I believe, and I was talking to somebody about this today, me personally, I believe that happiness and esteem and feeling worthy comes from in here. I am not somebody that needs someone to give me accolades and approve me to feel good about who I am as a person. And it would be a really helpful thing to everybody if they learned that their happiness and their fulfillment comes from within. Because, guys, you're not always going to have somebody to sing your praises. And a lot of times, especially on here, you're going to be demoted rather than promoted or celebrated. The narcissist in my life years ago, I said I wouldn't talk about anybody, but I often talk about her. And actually, she gave me permission to. She used to tell me, and this is a good thing, actually. She used to say, Laura, because that's my actual name. She didn't know me as Dee Dee yet. I didn't have Dee Dee yet. She was the reason I started this channel. She said, Laura, always hang with people to celebrate you, not tolerate you. And that was probably the best advice she could have ever given me. Why do you hang around with people that merely put up with you? It doesn't make sense. Think about that. Okay, so let's go to the next one. This is definitely something I do quite a bit. We all kind of do this at times. Jumping to conclusions. Anybody do this? Just automatically assume something's going to go bad? Yes, go where you're wanted. That's another great way of saying it, Jean Marie. Thank you. Um, just assuming that something's going to go bad because you had a bad experience before. I can't get up and give that speech because I'm going to get nervous and I'm going to goof up and my palms are going to sweat and I'm going to ruin everything. You probably won't. Maybe your palms will sweat. Maybe your heart will beat. You probably won't ruin everything. In fact, you probably do a lot better than you think, but you're already psyching yourself out of it. Um, Here's some examples of jumping to conclusions that are more specific. Let me get them up here for you. Here's a couple of them. Again, a lot of people do this one. I might try to do this as well at times. Mind reading. Yes, true, LW, yes. Mind reading. Well, I called him and called him. He's ignoring the call, so he must be out with somebody. Or she ignored my text. I bet she hates me. She probably hates me. That's mind reading. You're assuming what somebody's thinking. Oh, they do this to kids all the time. Adults do this to kids. Oh, he won't like that. Like a food. He won't like that. He won't eat it. He won't want to try that. How do you know? Are you in his head? Just because he's 4 doesn't mean he can't make up his own mind. He's got a brain, you know? Mind reading. Sometimes people will even say, hey, I bet I know what you're thinking. And maybe sometimes they kind of have an idea of what you're thinking. But does everybody know every thought in our head? No, they don't. Okay. And this is another form of it, very similar to mind reading, but it's more like a prediction type thing. What, Nene? What, baby? Oops. That did not work too well. The next thing. This one. Show it, Laura. Fortune telling. Again, like predicting what's going to happen. Well, every time I go into this certain group, they reject me. So they're going to just reject me again. And maybe they will, but not all the time. Last time I went to the movie theater, there was a fight that broke out. So there's going to be another fight today. A lot of this is based on paranoia as well. A lot of people are very paranoid, afraid that something's going to happen and it may never happen. So, fortune telling. All right. Next. There's quite a few of these. And I'm not exactly sure what the next video is going to bring to the surface as far as all of these go, because I haven't finished watching it myself, because I thought it'd be more fun to watch it with my friends on here. So I'm bringing it to you guys so we can watch it together. And of course, I'll do it commentary style, so it is not to get to know how that is. This next one is what I call the mountains from MoleHills. MoleHills. Say that 10 times fast. Mountains out of MoleHills. I forgot the keys. I'm hopeless. I'm never going to remember my keys. I'm going to lock myself out of my car and I'm going to lose my keys somewhere on the street and not be able to get into my car, that kind of thing. Now, this is an important one for me because I used to catastrophize about stuff like that because I used to have stuff like that happen quite a bit. Now, I locked my keys in the car the other day. I didn't get a chance to tell you all that when I came on the one night because I was dealing with other stuff. Anyway, I didn't panic. I called the insurance company. The guy took this inflatable pillow, stuck it into my door, pumped it up, stuck this long thing in, jiggled the key, or not the key, sorry, the lock, opened the lock, and I got my keys out. Now, my car was dead because I stupidly put them in the car and turned the ignition on and then left them in there and shut the door and locked it. So I had to have him jump my car too. But it wasn't the end of the world. I didn't catastrophize. I didn't feel like, oh, we're never going to get home now. I didn't sit on the side of the road and cry and act like it was the end of the world. Let me tell you something. In my first marriage, There were many times that I was left stranded. I had to find my way back. Oftentimes I would hitch rides. I remember one time I was coming back from a church service. I had brought my niece and my nephew and my children to this church. We were driving home and the car broke down. I called my husband at the time and he said, "What do you expect me to do? I don't know what to do for you." He's like, "Just get home any way you can. We'll deal with the car later." So I'm pretty sure we ended up walking a good part of the way, and I don't remember how we got home. We did not hitch a ride or anything like that, but somehow I think somebody came and picked us up. But I learned from those experiences that you can sit and wallow, you can bellyache, you can cry and sob like it's the end of the world, boo-hoo me. I'm broken down by the side of the road and I have all these kids with me. What am I going to do? Or you can put your thinking cap on and say, hey, I guess I could walk to the nearest store. Maybe I can call somebody on my phone that I know that can come and pick us up. You know, there's always options. There really are, unless you know nobody. And there are people that don't know anybody. So then, yeah, I guess you could sit by the side of the road and cry. It's still not going to get you out of your situation. So making a mountain out of a molehill doesn't really work in your favor. Survival mode. And some people are more resilient than others. I happen to be a very resilient person because I have been through a lot of HE double hockey sticks in my life. I have encountered illnesses that could have probably killed me. I have encountered scary situations where I was almost harmed really bad. Hey, Spoof, how are you doing? I have gone through obviously 2 divorces and lived in homeless shelters for a couple years. I have been deserted. I have been abandoned. I have been rejected. I have been through the ringer. And I just learned that, you know what? If nobody's around to help you, you got to help yourself. Because the truth is in life, folks, you're kind of on your own, whether you want to think so or not. Now, if you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth and you got daddy and mommy to bail you out of things and pay your bills and whatever, good for you. You're blessed. You're blessed. That was not my case at all. So I had to learn, am I going to sit here and wallow, or am I going to pick myself up, dust myself off, and move forward? And my foster mom was very instrumental in teaching me that, because I used to be a ball baby. I used to cry about everything. I used to whine all the time and think it was the end of the world every time something did not go my way. And she once gave me a really good word picture, and she was excellent at doing this. She said, honey, let me tell you something. Let me ask you something. If you walked across the porch in a few minutes and you walked down the stairs and you tripped and fell in the mud, would you just lay there? I was like, no. She's like, no, of course not. You'd get up, you'd come in the house, you would brush yourself off, you'd clean yourself. Thank you, D-Stu. And you'd be okay. You would get on with life. It's not the end of the world that happened. A lot of times I would wallow because relationships would end, like boyfriend-girlfriend relationships. And she was very comforting to me and very good at word pictures. She still is. She's the best word picture person I ever met in my life. She's very, very good at that. And it helped me through so many things. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. You feel like you're in school. Good. I'm a teacher. You probably should feel like that. That is one of my giftings. I am a teacher. I like to teach. I enjoy teaching and instructing. It comes very easily to me, and it feels very positive to me. And if I can teach people things, or if I can share something that blesses your life or helps you see things in a different way, then amen, good. I'm glad. All right, next. I did it again. Oops, I did it again. There we go. Emotional reasoning. That's the next one. Yeah, exactly, G. Marie. Thank you, LW. I am very much a logical thinker. That's why I don't get into the emotional stuff on here very well. I don't like that kind of stuff. When people start bawling and getting all emotional, it makes me uncomfortable. I have to leave the room. I can't deal with it. I mean, if it's something really, intense that everybody's really moved by, that's a whole different ball game. But I can't handle that kind of thing very well. My mind does not work that way. There you go. That's good, Shelley. You had strong parents that taught you to be independent. All right. So emotional reasoning, what is it? What it basically means is, let me show you. I like this little board thing I can write stuff on. This is awesome. What it means, emotional reasoning dash means here we go. It means this. Emotional reasoning means your emotions equal your truth. So this is how it plays out, okay? I feel guilty, so it's got to be my fault. I'm sorry you're bored, potted salad. There's other rooms on here. Feel free to enter other places. It's okay to cry when people turn it into too much drama. Yeah, I understand that. I'm saying for me personally, I don't feel comfortable around a lot of that kind of stuff. I'm not that. That's not the way I'm geared. It's not the way I'm wired. I just don't. Now it depends on the situation. If somebody comes to me and they're upset because like something bad happened, I can be a shoulder to cry on. I can be comforting. I don't have a problem with that. There's just certain kind of things that make me uneasy. Anyway, let's not get off on that topic. We're not talking about that. So it's basically feeling something and therefore that's what you believe about yourself. I got angry, so I must be some kind of a psychopath, that kind of thing, not realizing that emotions are part of who you are. And I'm not just talking about tears, I'm talking about all emotions. Oh, I got overly excited, so I'm just going to mess up the next thing I do because I'm not focused. That kind of stuff. That's what emotional reasoning is. Now, the next part, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I think there's 3 more I want to talk about. The next one is, and if this is boring to anybody, feel free to leave. You're not going to hurt my feelings any. Not in the least. Personalization. Basically taking the blame. He left me, so it was my fault. My kids got bad grades in school, so it's a reflection on me. Not necessarily. Maybe your kid didn't study. Maybe the teacher doesn't like your kid. That does happen sometimes. Not all the time, but yeah, sometimes. So it's basically making things about you. Every time something goes wrong, it's all your fault. You must have done something dumb again. That is a great book. Yes, LW, exactly. So personalizing things, making it about you, blaming yourself for everything that goes wrong or certain things that go wrong. All right. The last one. This one, hang on a second. I did miss one, so we got 2 more to go. And then I'm going to play that other video because some of you do have a problem with this. I have problems with some of this, and it would be good to learn not only what is it, but how to fix the problem. We're going to do that next in just a minute. I don't like saying things without giving examples of how to deal with them. I'm a fixer, so that's what I do. All right, this is the next one. Should statements, also shouldn't statements, mustn't statements. The musts and the must nots. I think it's usually both. I could be wrong. Great talk today. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, everything should be about me type of thing. You're right, potted salad, exactly. Some people feel that way, like everything should be about them. But everything is not about them. I have a daughter that is a lot like that. as you guys know. And she knows she is. That would be Amber. She will come on here and admit she makes things about herself because that's really her favorite topic is herself. So yes, that's Amber for you. Okay. Anyway, and the only reason I said that was because she admits it. She has no problem with me telling you that because she would tell you that. All right. Negative labeling. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the next one. Should statements. Um, well, you should go do this or you shouldn't do that. How many times have people told us this? You know, well, you shouldn't play baseball because you banged your knee. You know, maybe it's just you banged your knee because you tripped or you had a bad game, a bad day, or whatever. Yeah, don't should all over yourself. Don't should on me is the thing I always say. Don't should on me. Don't tell me I should. One thing I hate that people on here love to say. I'm sure those of you that have heard it, it will ring a bell because you've seen people say this to me. Here's their favorite statement that I do not relate to. One moment. And again, I am making it about me because I'm not going to bring other people into it for the most part. And I think a lot of people heard this from their parent. So this is why they do this a lot. It doesn't bother me in the least as far as other than saying, don't say that to me, you know, and no, I'm not. And it's this, Dee Dee, you should be ashamed of yourself. No, I really shouldn't. Nobody really should be ashamed of themselves if they're not doing something to be ashamed of. Should is a control word. Very good, LW. Exactly. Amber is a sweetheart. She's just very self-focused, and some of it is a teenager thing, and I think another part of it is something else. So I love her. She's like one of my favorite daughters. All of my daughters are my favorites. I don't have one over the other. They're all different, like Shelly said. That's true. But no, Dee Dee will not be ashamed of herself unless Dee Dee's doing something wrong. And I tend to not do a lot of things wrong, to be honest with you. I did this morning. I invalidated somebody's feelings and I apologized for it because I didn't really understand um, what was going on in the text. I have trouble with that sometimes. Shouldn't have married your wife. Well, yeah, that's a logical shouldn't. I don't mean that kind of should or shouldn't. I mean when people try to impose things on you. Oh, you should go here, or you shouldn't talk to that person, or you shouldn't do this or that. You can suggest things. I don't think that's a great idea. Shouldn't be said. There you go. Shouldn't be said. That's cute, Anna. I like that. Oh, she will definitely get far in life. There's no doubt about that. True, G. Marie. True. Could is a better word, is better used. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Okay, next and last, I believe. Pretty sure this is the last one. Yes. This will be the last one I talk about here on these cognitive distortions. There's probably many more. Dana probably could help me out with those because I really don't know every single one there is. The last one is this. Now, people are going to jump down my throat on this one. I know they are, and have at it if you want to. Oops, not that. Sorry, it did not turn out right there. Hold on. It didn't save. What happened. Now we'll try this. Negative labeling. So somebody says, did you see what they said to her? What a jerk. I bet he's not good at anything. I bet he's worthless and a loser. You don't know that. Open throat Dee Dee? Huh? Open throat Dee Dee. I'm not sure what that means, Dana. You have to spell it out for the mentally discernment impaired, which would be me. Oh gosh, potted salad, that's terrible. I'm so sorry that happened to you. That's scary. Yeah, that sounds like a situation where you need to seek some therapy and maybe possibly leave it. and go to safer ground. Exactly. Oh, you're goofing. Okay. I wasn't sure what it meant. That's all, Dana. Okay. Anyway, that's fine. We can goof in here. I don't have a problem with that. Let's see. So, somebody may do something that you don't like, and you call them stupid or a dumb butt, which that's not how my husband would say it, but you get the drift. Oh, they're such a dumb butt because they maybe pulled in front of you in the car. Now, you're saying that in a fit of anger and rage. I have bad road rage, y'all. I do. I really do. I don't scream at the top of my lungs, but I get really irritated with people because they make really dangerous mistakes on the road, or maybe not mistakes. Maybe they do it on purpose because they want to be ahead to go be the first one at the red light, that sort of thing. But when you label somebody just in a general way, oh, they're a dumb butt because, for instance, a husband might say to a wife, "You're stupid and forgetful because every time I tell you something, you don't remember what I tell you." Okay. Again, this is generalization. Every time. Every time? Come on. I'm sure your wife remembers something you tell her. She remembered to wake you up for work this morning. She remembered to get your breakfast. She remembered to pack your lunch. There you go. Yes, I'm an ESTJ lady all the way. ESTJ all the way. Woo! That's me. Anyway. Oh, gosh. Potted salad. You really need to get some help for that situation. That's terrible. Yeah, you never listen. You never listen. We're always late because of you. I heard a lot of those in my first marriage. A lot. My ex-husband, my first ex-husband, narcissistic, diagnosed narcissist. And he used that a lot on me. Nobody's ever going to want you. You're stupid. Any smart person would know what that means. Any dumb person would know what that means. He used that one a lot too. So, I understand a lot of these things and I understand about labeling. And I always tell you, I love labels. I'm talking about psychological labels, and only for the sake that I like to know what's going on with a person so that I know how to handle that situation with them. So if I know somebody is narcissistic, or I know somebody is borderline or bipolar or codependent, I'm going to know not to say certain things, or to say something, phrase it in a certain way so that I don't offend or I don't get a trigger reaction out of somebody. It's not always bad though, Shelley, unless you're doing it with bad motives. Now, labeling somebody in a sense of to their face, well, you're just this or you're just that, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if somebody has a disorder or something like that, and I know it, I am going to know how to handle them. You care for her, you're married 19 years. Okay, well, I think what you need to look at, maybe potted salad, is how you feel about yourself to be allowing yourself to be in a situation like that where you're being harmed. Because now we're talking physical harm, and that's not a good, healthy thing for anybody. Okay, D Stu had, yes, I remember the first time my ex called me names, changed the dynamic. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, name calling is a whole different, ball game. Exactly. All right. So that was it for this. I am now going to share my screen if this works out. Hopefully it does. I haven't done it on this computer yet. So this is called How to Stop Cognitive Distortions, Bad Thoughts and Poison Minds. I will put the link below. Remind me if I forget. Not the best at remembering things sometimes. And okay, am I here still? Let's see. Okay, I'm still here. That's good. I got a little confused there. I switched screens and hoped I didn't knock myself out of my screen. And I didn't. Right, so I believe we have an ad coming up, so I'm going to silence the ad first. Yeah, this is an ad. Let me get through this. Skip the ad. I make it bigger so y'all can see it. Where did it go? All right, I think we got it going on here. 1 second, y'all. 1 second. My computer is very, very slow. All right, I think we're getting it here. Maybe it won't let me do it bigger like that. Do it that way, whatever. I'm not sure how well my husband's computer is going to work for this. So I'm going to do the best I can. Doesn't work. Maybe it's not. All right. I'm going to probably have to do it on my phone. It'll let me. I don't have much battery, so I'm not sure how much it's going to let me do. Oh, 16% battery. That is not going to work too well, is it? Oh, now it's deciding to work. Maybe. Yeah, this is not probably going to let me do this. I will be right back, guys. I have to grab my charger. What's up, me? What? Need some food, bud? The food, if you want it. This is the food. Eat up. Mommy's going to go get the charger cord. Hey, you want to go out, buddy? All right. Hi, Ted. All right. Because my hair's all a mess now. Maybe I can charge my phone while I am talking to you. Oh, there we go. It's charging. Perfect. Let me get this video up on my phone, then I can just show it to you. Okay, and this is called, wait a minute, where did it go? Okay, I might have to do that separate because I cannot find the video again. I accidentally closed it down. How to if I can find it on here. Very impromptu video. Hey, Ducky. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. How to stop cognitive distortions, bad thoughts, and poison minds. There it is.
If you could design your life.
Hold on. Add. Here we go.
Had classes that showed the world exactly as it's not. Made friends into monsters, light into catastrophes, and your own image into a nightmare. Would you wear them? If you've ever had a bad day or felt blue, chances are you've worn mental glasses that twist reality to what are called cognitive distortions. By eradicating or reducing these unhealthy thoughts, you can dramatically change your mood and your life. I'm Peter Montoya from Thrive Union. I'll be sharing our current thinking on cognitive distortions, what they are, how they affect us, and how to beat them. A cognition is simply a mental process or thought. Cognitive distortions come from cognitive behavioral therapy, which improves lives by positively changing thoughts, beliefs, and attitudes. Dr. David Burns, who popularized cognitive behavioral therapy, explains.
When you're depressed and anxious, those negative thoughts, I am no good, I am a loser, what's wrong with me, I shouldn't have screwed up, I should be better than I am. Those thoughts are not realistic thoughts. They're distorted. Remember, it's not the events, it's your thoughts that upset you.
Burns identifies 10 main cognitive distortions, summarized here for simplicity. First, we overgeneralize. One bad incident becomes a permanent state. One failure means we always fail. Our partner's mistake means that they'll always act that way. This creates all or nothing thinking, where we pigeonhole ourselves or others into extremes of all good or all evil, total successes or total failures, without room for nuance or growth. We form suffocating labels like all men are selfish or all women are devious, leading to mistrust and denial of others' experiences. Second, we mentally filter, only seeing the negative. We focus on one poor grade at school instead of all the good ones. We ruminate about our partner's bad behavior instead of remembering how they love us. We disqualify the positive, turning good things into bad. We assume that positive compliments are manipulative flatteries instead of a sincere expression. Third, we jump to conclusions. We read minds, falsely imagining that others are negatively thinking about us. We predicting only bad outcomes for the future. We catastrophize, believing that one fight with a partner will end with us dying alone in the streets. We wrongly personalize, assuming we're at fault for what others do and feel, such as believing we caused a friend's bad mood when it had nothing to do with us. These distortions plague our relationships, motivation, self-love, and happiness, drowning us in needless stress. We can use cognitive behavioral therapy to remove them. Start with small, simple changes. First, become aware of these thoughts through metacognition.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to stop it there. I noticed my friend here is feeling like she has to not let people in. Are you sure about that? After all, what am I talking about here? Is that really what you need to do? Not let anybody in? Or maybe not let certain people in or certain types of people in, or take a break from certain people. But just making a statement of, I just need to say to myself, not let people in, that's an overgeneralization. If you don't let anybody in, then how will you ever know if you can meet the right friend?
What you're thinking about. Identify and separate cognitive distortions from who you are. Second, allow for shades of gray and avoid absolutes like always or never. Avoid labels like lazy or bad for yourself and others. Let growth take a slow but natural process. Believe you can change and that one bad incident doesn't sentence you to a lifetime of them. Third, give equal time to the positive. If you get in a fight with a romantic partner, call 3 positive things they've done. If your project fails, remind yourself of 3 earlier successes. Don't let negativity be your only focus.
Oh, I like that. If something bad happens, remind yourself of 3 successes. So maybe something bad's going on in your life. Think about things that did work out. Think about things that are going good for you. And if you don't have anything going good, then yeah, you need to see a therapist, because there should be some positivity in your life. You shouldn't be always down and depressed. You know, you might need medication. You might need talk therapy. You might need cognitive therapy. But, you know, there's got to be something good that's going right in your life. Not everything is supposed to be bad all the time. Hey, Lufa. Hey, Angela. Hey, everybody that I didn't get to say hi to. Hey, Grandma Ducky. Okay. Back on somehow. I want to go back on.
Fourth, check reality before jumping to conclusions. Although it's difficult, ask people what they're thinking, then believe them. Imagine positive scenarios in addition to disastrous ones. Dreaded party that be fun instead of boring. Remember, you're not the personal cause of others' behaviors. Ask friends why they're feeling down instead of assuming it's you. Recognizing and removing cognitive distortions improves our lives. We can reality check to shed unnecessary stress. We can dedicate equal time to positivity. And we can accept a nuanced view to embrace others and ourselves as worthy of love and acceptance. Our thoughts determine our moods and actions. If our cognitions are distorted, our behaviors and moods will be too. We can learn to identify and remove our distortions to free ourselves and truly thrive.
Okay, so that's the end of that. It gave us some good tips on how to change our way of thinking, to not catastrophize, to not overgeneralize, and all that stuff. So I wasn't going to do this, but since this really went smoothly, I think I'm just going to open up the panel if anybody wants to come up and talk about maybe some of the things you're struggling with, or maybe some victories you've had in these areas. Feel free. Get maybe a couple of our therapy people up here, like Dana and Evelyn, if she's still here. Anybody, really. Anybody that wants to share, feel free to come on up and do so. Yeah, I think there's a lot of assumptions and a lot of overgeneralizations and a lot of black and white thinking, or all or nothing thinking is another way of putting it. So I will put the link out if anybody wants to come on up and join me. We can talk about this. Everybody's been really cordial. Thank you for being polite in my chat room. I really greatly appreciate it. It makes things go so much smoother. Yeah, I know, D-Stu, me too. I pretty much knew most of them. I've studied them in college and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's good to see that. I have one too, Lufa. I've had many therapists actually. Oh, that's an interesting point that Lilith brought up. She thinks she learns more from people who do not think like her than from people who think like her. Very interesting. Yeah, I see your point on that. I always talk about how I want to be around like-minded people, but I could see where there's merit in hanging with people that don't think exactly like me too, depending on what it is. Does anyone want to come up on panel and talk about this? If not, I can end things. It's been about an hour, so that's a good amount of time for a chat room. Oh, sorry, G. I understand. That's awful. I'm sorry you're going through that. I will post the link once more. If not, that's fine. Hi, Dairy D. I don't think you've ever been in my room, but welcome. Maybe you were a long time ago. I think it's been a while. I'm not exactly your cup of tea. I'm not a high drama, high intense, screaming, yelling, cussing room. Oh, okay. That's fine, Potted Salad. I totally understand that. Oh, wow. Okay, Angela. I bet you wish you could go off into a fantasy with all that mess. Understandable. Did I have a hard time divorcing him? No, because I moved out and lived in a domestic violence shelter, and I got immediately divorced from him pretty quick after that. I mean, it took time, yes, but I didn't have a hard time of it. It was granted to us. We had to go through parenting classes first, and it was the best thing that we ever both did because we learned not to turn the kids against each other, which was pretty awesome. No, it's not too personal at all. That's cool, Derry. Me too, actually. I like different creators on here too. Minimalizing has made you happier too. Oh, like getting rid of stuff. And yeah, I know I really want to do that. I'm such a clutter bug sometimes. Yeah, that's hard, Angela. It's very hard when someone's telling you they love you and they're sticking a knife in your back at the same time, figuratively, you know? Right. You wish you had filed for divorce first. Understand. Anyway, y'all, it has been very interesting sharing this stuff and actually kind of relearning it myself. But I'm going to get going. This is all I really wanted to present. I just felt it was something we could look at and maybe consider, you know, do we do some of these things and try to learn how to change our ways if it would help situations. All right. So I'm sorry, Jean Marie. That's really hard. That's sad. And I'm sorry for all of you that are going through painful times. I understand it's very painful, very hard. Thank you, Lilith. Thank you. There'll be more videos like this, more live chats, if you will, if you like this. I'll try to keep them down to about an hour. That way we don't lose focus and get bored. And I'll offer up, you know, chat time afterwards. Yeah. That's good, Angela. Yay, you're happy. Awesome. Prayers do work. They do. They help. Very true, Lilith. Very, very true. All right. God bless y'all. I love you. Thank you so much for coming and being so kind during this chat time. I feel uplifted and encouraged, and I'm glad I did this. I'm glad I listened to Yahweh when he told me to come on and do this. I think it's very good information for all of us to keep in mind. And if we're struggling with things in relationships or in our life, maybe we can find out what our end of things is and fix it somehow, you know, make things right. Because we can't fix another person. We can't do anything to change other people. And we are not responsible for what they do and what they say. So be blessed, everybody. Have a great day, and we will see you next time.